Good evening, Nick family. I'm your host, Stephanie. You can follow me on Twitter at BKSteph33. Welcome to the Queen's Court. We're here every Monday, usually 8:30 p.m. But if the Knicks have a game, I'll go a bit earlier, like I am tonight. We got a lot to talk about in just a little bit of time to do it. The Knicks play Cleveland tonight at 7 p.m. The Knicks are currently 23 and 24, 11th in the Eastern Conference. Cleveland is 28 and 19, 5th in the Eastern Conference. So it's going to be a tough game for the Knicks. Before I introduce our guest, I just want to do a quick rundown of the game. I like to do that because this is a weekly show and you may or may not remember what went on. So I'm going to talk about each game really quickly. We played Charlotte. I'm not getting into Charlotte because I covered that on the last Queen's Court last Monday, but that was a loss. Then we played Minnesota at the Garden. That was a loss. Knicks came into that game 8-4 since Christmas. Kemba was out a number of games, but started this game. The Knicks gave up 30 points in the first quarter, 61 points in the half. They were down by 10. They had a monster third quarter. I think they went on a 25-10 run to get back in the game. And we lost by 2, on a missed shot by Burks. Should Kemba have returned to the starting lineup, after being out those previous games? We're going to talk about that. Then we went on to play the New Orleans Pelicans, who are not a very good team, also at the Garden. Knicks were down by as much as 25 points in that game. RJ had 17.6 rebounds. Not very efficient, but he was very aggressive. Randle with 5 points in that game, playing the pass instead of playing the score, throwing a tantrum with the refs, shoving Fournier, who was trying to calm him down. Is the lights of New York City getting too bright for Julius? We about to talk about that as well. Then we played the Clippers at the Garden, a win finally. Noel was back. Then Mitch leaves with an injury. What's new, right? Randle was aggressive this game, driving to score instead of driving to pass. He had 24 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. But it was RJ Barrett who seems to be coming into his own. 28 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists. Is RJ ready to lead? Can we count on him game in and game out, which means also holding him accountable, right? If he doesn't play well, do we have our number one? We're going to talk about that as well. I'm joined by Stafford Don, his first time on Queen's Court. He has a show on the Blanche Tears Network. Please, if you haven't already, follow that movement. He has a show with his co-host Soul Finger. That's Sunday, Sunday at 4 p.m. called NBA 101, where from the title, it seems like they're covering the entire NBA. He can talk more about it. And if she's not here already, she's on her way. Chris, who kicked off the Queen's Court with me almost a year ago, she'll be joining us as well. We're about to get into it. Let me get our guest into the stream. Yes, Stafford Dawn. Chris, how are you two doing today?
Salute, Steph. Salute.
Salute to the Queen's Court. Salute to Steph. Salute to Chris. How you doing? Nice to meet you.
I'm good.
Yeah, it's a blessing to be on the show. I just want to say, Mama, I made it.
Well, I appreciate it. And just for Stafford Don brought up something before we went on. Anybody who wants to be on the Queen's Court, just DM me. I try to keep it to 2, 3, 4 people, including myself. So if I'm already full, you can be on the next week. Just DM me and let me know that you're interested, male or female, being on the show, and you're welcome. I love this community. I follow Blanche Tears. I follow it all. So even if I don't say anything in the chat, I'm there. I'm listening. So whoever wants to be on, you're definitely welcome. Anything about, just did the rundown really quickly of the games. The Knicks were counting that Charlotte game, 1-3 this past week, which most of us thought was an easy week before we go on this tough stretch. Anything about this past week, team-wise or player-wise, that stood out for you? I'll start with you, Stafford Don, then I'll go to you, Chris.
To tell you the truth, Steph, with this team,
it's never good when somebody start like that.
Yeah, because this team is so up and down. You understand? We play good for 3 games and then we lose 3 games. So it's really hard to really put a pinpoint on 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 um on the team. But to tell you the truth, the last 3 games, I see with this team, we're just not athletic enough. The team that comes in, the last 3 teams that came in were young. They had legs. Well, besides the Clippers, they're a little old. But Charlotte, New Orleans, those guys are very young, and they ran us out our own gym. So we need to get more athletic, uh, more running plays. Coach should implement more running plays with this team. I just think the last 3 games we came out like we wasn't ready to play. Sometimes I think this team, I think the hype gets to their head when they win 3 games in a row and they just relax a little bit, like they dare. But they need to know that every team is gunning for them every night, and they need to come out with 100% effort. So that's mostly what I've seen this week. Very lethargic team. They're up and down. They just got to be with consistency.
Okay, Chris, anything team wise or player wise that stuck out from you this past week?
I think I've been saying this and probably text this back and forth with you and a couple other friends of mine. I feel like the chemistry is off this year. Like it doesn't seem like they're gelling, or like last year you can tell that they was locked in because they would go to the gym to the point where Tibbs had to lock the gym on them and stuff like that. They seem more like, playful with each other and stuff like that. Player wise, I know everybody talks about RJ, but he has definitely stepped up and has remained consistent. I think this is the player that we've wanted to see for a minute now. Um, as far as Randall, I just want to do a little disclaimer because I said some stuff on Twitter. I'm not really mad at Randall for being emotional because I feel like I want our leader to be emotional. I want him to show some stuff. But as far as shut the F up and, things of that nature and stuff like that, I think it went a little bit too far. And I understand sometimes we are emotional beings and we can go there and stuff like that. But as a professional, I feel like he should have toned it in. I mean, there's a time and a place to let that go. And I know, as a Knicks fan, I can say, and being around other Knicks fans, we love you and we hate you. But guess what? Tomorrow we're gonna love you again. You know what I'm saying? So I think honestly, he I don't think he's been here long enough to kind of figure out how Knicks fans are. And maybe Kimba is whispering in his ear, or should be whispering, and Tosh should be whispering, like, listen, that's New York. That's what you signed up for. The Knicks, the fans are gonna be hard, especially they paying $200-300 to come see you or more, to be in the nosebleed seats, and you're not really giving us what we expect. Like we expect you to be better than what you were last year. And in glimpses, it looks like the same player from last year to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I just feel like, at the end of the day, something is going on. I even posed a question today, like, did Tibbs lose his players? Because it just seems like their energy and stuff is not there. And then if you really pay attention, and I told you this stuff before, I look at the little things. Sometimes the players be waving them off. Like he'll be calling plays and they'll be like, and then they'll do something else. So for me, I just feel like something is going on that we don't really know, and we probably won't know until there's a trade or something like that happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think what stood out for me was just, coming into this week, we were 8-3 since Christmas, I believe. And maybe with that Charlotte, not including the Charlotte loss. Kimba comes back, and I don't think this is Kimba's fault. We put Kimba right back into the starting lineup, and then the Knicks go 0-3. And again, I'm not saying it's Kimba's fault that the Knicks went 0-3, but I just think we had a little chemistry going, even though Burks is not the best playmaker. that team was starting to gel a little bit. And I'm wondering if changing that starting lineup threw the chemistry off a little bit. And then the next thing you know, we 0-3. Kemba gets hurt and we win. Burt go back into the starting lineup and we win. It could all be just coincidental, but I'm just wondering if that team was just starting to gel, even though it wasn't the best team with Burke at the starting lineup. And I think another thing that stood out for me this week was RJ Barrett. He kept it rolling. And I think, the question is, and we'll talk about this more when we talk about RJ Barrett, is he just on a hot streak? Or is this what we can come to expect from RJ Barrett game in and game out? Because the past 3 weeks,
I hope so.
he's looked very well. So actually, we can actually get right into the next segment because that's the first question. So I would start with you, Chris, and then I'll go to Stafford Don. And the name of this section is Agree, Disagree. So I'm gonna make a statement. You either agree with it, you agree with it, and you just tell me what's your thoughts on it, why you agreeing or disagree.
Okay.
RJ has played great over the past 3 weeks. Is that enough time for you to say that the Knicks have their number one option?
I don't want to be premature, Steph, and I'm gonna say, because as the statement I just used with Randle, we love you when you playing well, but when you're not, we tend to be a little hard on you, So I don't want to, praise him too much. I just feel like he has to show me a little more. He has to show me a little more. I mean, he's playing well. He's picking his shots. He's going within the Florida offense. I don't really think he's forcing too much. There might a couple threes here and there he might be forcing, but I just want to see a little more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't want to say, yeah, he's our number one, or he might be a number two, or I don't want to put no numbers on it. I just want to see him consistently play the same thing, and then I'll say All-Star break. Let's ask that question again.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Stafford Don.
Yeah, I agree with Chris. I have to see a little more. Sometimes he could be very inconsistent. Also, he has to be consistent with his free throws. His percentage needs to go up. I wouldn't say he's a number one as yet. When teams start to concentrate on him, and when the game starts and start sending double teams to him, then I will say, okay, RJ Barrett has arrived. But teams are not planning for him. Randle is still the number one. They still doubling Randle. So you see, he is still the number one option on the team. But RJ is ascending. And is the week stats, he's been playing very good. I think he's averaging about 23 points, about 6 rebounds or something like that, right? So he's a young man and he's ascending, and he soon arrive. He soon arrive. So I don't want to, as Chris said, praise him too much. He is playing good, but nah, he's not the number one right now. No.
I mean, I think I agree with both of you, and both of you bring up very good points. When you're the number one, they game planning for you,
for real,
and you still getting it done. I'm not saying you're not going to have bad games. I'm not going to say you're not going to be inefficient some games, but they game planning for you, and you're still making it happen. It's going to be hard to tell if he can ever be that because he's on a team with Randle. Right. And Randle draws a lot of attention. So we may not even know that until, and I hope this doesn't happen. Randle is on another team or RJ is on another team. Same thing. If you remember Harden, when he was on that team with Westbrook and KD, we didn't know, right, until he went to Houston, right, that he was able to be that. So I think we don't know. And I think when somebody else is drawing the attention, you get a little more freedom to do what you do, right? So I'm not saying he can't do it, but it's hard to tell when you're on a team with somebody like Randle, who is not playing well at all, but is still drawing a lot of attention. And for me, I gotta see you. I need a huge sample size before I could say you were number one. And that was the same thing with Randall last year. He had a great season. And I remember saying, nah, I gotta see him in the playoffs. Then he had that playoffs, and I like, nah, I gotta see him all season this year, and I gotta see him in the playoffs again before I can say we got a number one. So for me, the sample size has to be a few years before I could say we have a number one. You agree with that, Stephadon, or you think you could kind of tell earlier than that whether or not you have a number one?
You know, I mean, as you said, I agree with what you said. You know, I mean, with the in 2 years, but but you see it coming. You know, you see it coming. So it might be less than 2 years. It could be after the All-Star break. You know what I mean? And he just take off and he's just leading the team in points, and because he has been leading the points the past few games. Randall hasn't been leading at all. So you never know. Tom might just decide to give him the keys for the rest of the season and see where he could take us. But
what does that look like?
I'm sorry?
What does that look like? Because I hear that a lot. Give him the keys. What would that look like? What would be different if RJ had the keys?
When I say give him the keys, right? I mean initiate the offense. Because when you see he initiates the offense, you see the offense flows a little better. You see more pick and rolls with him and Mitch, right? When he goes to the lane, he could get to the lane. You see he's finishing at the rim a little better. Right? When he goes to him, he kicks it out. He finds Fournier, right? So it's those little things that you see improve in his game when you say give him the keys, right? And everything is a learning curve, right? The other day he had 7 turnovers, or 13 combined in the 2 losses. I think in this last game he only had 1. So everything is a learning curve for him, and he's only going to get better.
No doubt about it. Do you think when you say give him the keys, does he now become the point guard? Like, is he the one bringing the ball up the court, similar to what Randall does?
No, well, basically being a number one option when we say give him the keys. Give him the keys to the franchise, right? Number 14 jersey sales out of all NBA players, RJ Barrett, right? So soon he will be given the keys to this franchise, and he will add it to somebody. Hopefully it's Randall and probably somebody else. You never know, but teams might be planning for him later on in the year or down maybe 2 years coming. You never know.
Right. Chris, any thoughts on that?
See, for me, when I'm thinking about number ones, I'm thinking about energy, like an energy person. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's in tune, that's kind of all over the place. Like, if their shot not falling, they're doing the other little things, and he's been doing that consistent. The other thing is heart. Like, you can tell when somebody is giving it all, because the shots they're doing, they don't give up. They're trying to get their own rebound. They're trying to break out on the fast break and things of that nature. And also, I just want to see some consistency. Like, I feel like sometimes RJ allows Randall to kind of like put him in a little box where he kind of settle and stuff like that. I feel like sometimes he got to just take the ball and do what he got to do and not sit back and wait for Randall. And also, I think
but he's been doing that though on this stretch. No,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I this is what I'm seeing as far a number one for me.
Right.
This is the things I want to see for a number one. And I think that he's doing that. The thing, like I just said, can he do it on a consistent basis? Is this something that he's gonna do? Or shoot, tonight he might have a bad game. You know what I'm saying? Because this is something that we're new to seeing. We're not seeing him consistently doing the things that he's been doing the last few games. So I just want to see if he can withstand. If he can withstand, and if he can, and if his shot not falling, continue to do what you've been doing, getting the rebounds, trying to get steals, playing the tough defense. Like, for me, That's all I ask for is a little energy and to show that you know, your shot's not falling. You still in the game. And the thing about Randle, and I probably shouldn't go to Randle, is like sometimes when his shot not falling, he got his head slumped. He barely want to play defense. He barely want to be in the offense. And then when he's in the offense, he's still doing the same jump and spin passes that he's been doing before. You know what I'm saying? He's not recognizing the doubles when they're coming. And there was a couple games where I was like, wow, why he wait so long to pass the ball? But
right.
Again,
we're gonna get into Randle.
Yeah,
we definitely gotta get into Randle. Let's finish up on RJ. Stafford Don, you had your hand up. You want to say something?
Yeah, with RJ. Since the call out by Tom and the quote after the protocol, he's been on a tear. So, but people I just want to make that point with the whole Tom thing and him, because people had criticized me when I said that was good criticism for Tom for calling him out. And you see, after when he called him out, he had a good game. So, as you say, Chris, it's all about consistency. And once we get consistency from him, we will see that he will be the leader and he will be the number one.
Yeah. And I think even on national TV, I think he even cursed at him like, RJ, wake the hell up or something like that. Like you can hear him like, and I tell you all the time, Steph,
That's
like if you listen, Tiz be cursing them out. Like I be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? What the hell you doing over there? Move, you know? And I'm like, wow, like so like I said, I don't know. Maybe they tired of him yelling at him. I don't know, Steph. I don't know. Something is a little off.
Right. Shout out to Quiet Money. I appreciate you rocking with me from the beginning and the rest of the chat as well. I mean, this is what I'll say about a number one. There's a difference between being the number one option on your team and being considered a number one in this league.
Right.
You know, like a superstar player, like a Kevin Durant, a Kyrie, a Harden, a Kawhi Leonard, a guy like that. Barrett is definitely not there yet. Those are the guys that the end of the game, you need a bucket, that's where you going.
There you go.
You know what I mean? And if they get fouled, you don't even want to foul them because you know if you foul them, you just giving up 2 points, you know, because they're gonna make
or three.
Or three, right? He definitely ain't there yet. He's not there yet. But like you said, Stephadon, he's ascending, and I think that, you know, I never want to say for any young guy whether they popping or not what they can't be, right? So who knows? He can definitely become that. That to me right now, that's out of the question. I'm even just being a number one on the Knicks. I feel like it takes a lot to be. Look at Randle. Look at the elite season Randle had last year. RJ hasn't even had that yet.
Right.
Randle had an elite full season, bombed in the playoffs. RJ just had a good 3 weeks. I want to see RJ for the rest of this season. I want to see RJ in the playoffs. I want to see RJ next season. I'm not saying you're going to have a good game every game, but if you're consistent, you show up the rest of the season, you show up in the playoffs, you improve your game, and then you show up next season and we can count on you. Now we talking.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now we talking.
I got you.
I need a huge sample
100%.
size. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Stafford Don.
No, 100%. I agree with you.
Yeah, I need a huge sample size before I start talking about that. I need to see them game planning against you and you still making it happen. You know, then I'm like, we got something here. But I don't know if he'll ever be in this position. All right, let's move on to the next one. Look, I'm having so much fun. It's already 6:30. All right. Agree or disagree? Randle will not recover from the incident with the fans, and the pressure will prove too much for him to ever become a consistent, effective player in New York. Agree or disagree? We'll start with you, Stafford Don, because I think we started with you first, Chris.
That's heavy.
That's a big one, right? Now we targeting his mental.
That's heavy.
Listen, you see what Chris said earlier? 1 minute we love you, and the next minute we hate you.
Yeah.
Listen, Randle, and I say this on Uncle Freezy's show all the time. Shout out to him. You just got to go out there and play your game, man. You play your game, and it's going to be all right. You give us the 19 and 10, and with a little 7 assists, and your turnover ratio is about 1 or 2, and you don't, as Chris said, do the high dribble and turn around, and you wait too long to pass the ball. You know what I mean? Once you do all the small things, you pass out of the double team real quick. When you see it coming, you pass real quick. You know what I mean? You make your teammates better. You don't come out with if you're not in the game, we don't want to see your head down. We want to see you with energy. Although sometimes when the offense don't initiate through you, you still get us 10 rebounds. You still get us 7 assists, but sometimes your body language doesn't look right.
Terrible.
Right? It doesn't look right.
But wait, hold on. But the question is, do you think he can recover? So you're saying yes as long as he do these things you're talking about.
Once he does all those things and he's consistent, he will recover, and the fans gonna forget like he ever did that.
Okay.
It's simple as that. Go in the game, give us your effort, 100% every night. Regardless, if you get 2 points, but you give us 15 rebounds and 10 assists, 2 turnovers, we still love you, bro. Regardless.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah, he could recover. Come on, you know, this New York. You know what I mean? We like Jekyll and Hyde. You know what I mean? 1 minute we up and next minute we down, but we love you the same way. You just gotta go out there and give us your effort.
All right. Chris, you think he can recover? Or do you think that the pressure is going to be too much and it's going to be hard for him to recover from that?
I think the only pressure Randle has is himself. Okay. I honestly think the only pressure he had, because if you go out there and lay it on the line, the Knicks fans is going to love you. You know what I'm saying? When you winning, it's all love. When you lose, if you lose and you laid it on the line, I think the Knicks fans will be okay. But sometimes, like I said, he played like he don't have no energy. He don't even want to be on the court sometimes. So I really think that he can, but he has to push beyond whatever he's feeling, whatever those emotions are, whatever he think the Knicks fans or whoever is feeling, and just ball out. That's all we want you to do.
Just ball out.
That's it. It's ball out. You know what I'm saying? You ball out. You could get 20, 10, and 5, you know, for the next 4 or 5 games. Nobody won't say nothing and we winning. But when we losing and you walking up the court, you got your head down, you know, your energy is off, you standing off to the side because the ball is not going through you. You know, nobody wants to see that. And then when you finally do get the ball, you dribbling into 3, 4 people with a turnover, or you jump turning and passing the ball out of bounds, and like stuff like that is going to get you what you gave us. You know what I'm saying? So come on, we just want you to play ball. That's it. Consistently do what you was doing before. Like whatever it is, go to the gym and get it out your system, or however you have to get it out your system, and just play. You know, we temperamental. New York fans is temperamental. How many times
you gotta tell me?
How many times we had conversations about we hate the Giants, they playing, I ain't gonna watch them, and then Sunday we sit right there watching them. That's just New York fans. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're 4-9 and we still watching the Giants. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it is. Look how many years we had terrible seasons with the Knicks, but every time they play, right there.
We
so
right there.
That's it. Just show us.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, yeah. Well, shout out to Guard Up Knicks. I appreciate you for joining us. If you guys haven't already, please like and subscribe. They also do a post game show as well. I think it's 2 brothers and a cousin. I really love their flow. So you get an opportunity, please check them out as well. And Karen Fung is okay. I'm glad your internet is back up and you back with us. I mean, from a fan's perspective, I think you're right. From a fan's perspective, if Julius Randle starts playing hard and hustling and he's engaged throughout the games, the fans will forget about it and they will cheer. So from a fan's perspective, I get that. But Randle himself, to me, now he came back this past game and he looked good. But in the prior game, who did we play before my not this last game with the Clips? Whoever we played before that,
New
when he
Orleans.
only the Pelicans, when he only took 10 shots. And I didn't hear
Energy.
this, but yeah, somebody said that he was about to shoot a 3 and a fan booed and he passed the ball. Now I didn't see that. But that's what gave me pause about you all in your head about the fans to the point where you're not playing your game. Now I'm not saying this is what's happening, and I hope it's not.
It is,
But
Steph. You could tell
but
that it
hold
is.
on,
Come on.
No,
hold
I
on.
have to
If
agree.
that's
I
what
did
it
saw that
is,
too. I did
if
see
that's
it
what it
too.
is, then I don't. You're not built for New York. If you can't play your game because they booing you or what have you, and you can't lock in, I don't know if you're gonna make it here. I don't know
So
if you're gonna make it.
No,
do y'all remember the
what's,
game Patrick Ewing? They gave out his posters, and he played a terrible game. What they did with those posters, they threw all of them on the court. So that's just how we are. And then the next game,
I'm
he
not
came and
talking
had a
about
good.
us. I know how we are. My
That's what I'm
question
saying.
is, can the player handle it? Patrick Ewing, I didn't really see that impact, Pat. If it did, I didn't see it.
Yeah,
The
Steph,
question is, can Randall handle it?
he
Steph
can't.
Adon?
I think he can handle it because if he didn't handle
You
it, he
think he
would have
can?
never signed with us. He
Okay.
would have never signed with us. He knows the pressures that comes with New York. The first season with New York, he know he stinked up the joint, and we was going to get ready to get rid of him. So
So
he
he
came back
experienced, it's not like this is this first time. He experienced it the year before his last year.
exactly. So
Fair
I don't
point.
think to
he
this
can handle
magnitude
it.
though. You
He will
think so?
recover. Trust me,
To
he's
the
a
point
big
where he
boy.
talking
He
back
got
like
big boy
this?
pants.
So you think he can handle it? He definitely did handle it the year before last. The year before last, you're right. The Knicks fans was giving him the business, and you're right. He did handle it, but I don't know. It just seemed like something different.
Exactly. This year's not. It's hitting them heartstrings, Steph.
No, because you know what it is too? We drank that Kool-Aid from last year. So this year we're expecting a different Randall. So now he's not producing as well, right? So you know, so that's why it's different. You know, if
Yeah,
you
and
understand
teams
what
know
I
what he
mean,
gonna
it's
do. That's
different.
why he's met with double teams whenever he start to dribble. They come to him because
Right,
they know he gonna
exactly,
pass it out.
exactly, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, one is his weakness is his IQ and his decision making. You know, because if you see in the last game,
Randall
the
gotta go.
Clippers, the last 6 minutes, they started double teaming him. He fumbled up the ball a couple of times. So, that's just
Yeah,
what it is with Randall.
Yeah.
yeah. One more Randall question before we move on. There's a few other questions I want to ask. And tell me if you agree or disagree. The Knicks held Randall out of the post game news conferences. I don't know, 6 games, 7 games. Was that to give him enough time to get his mind right, or do you think Randall was blowing it off and they just took the heat for it? Chris and then Stephadon.
I think after the last press conference, I think when they got the message from the league, I think they felt like, listen, we got to give him a little break because he was still upset. You could say his body language the next couple games, you could show that he still was upset. So
Mm-hmm.
I think they took one for the team and ate that fine to allow him time to get himself together, to get his feelings in check.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can just see somebody coming up like a Stephen A. or a Mark Brennan or somebody asking him a question and it's going back to where he was. So I feel like they did a good thing because they could have probably found him some more, a little higher thing if he went and said some stuff during the press conference. So I think they took one for the team for him and allow him time to calm it down.
Okay. All right. Stephadon.
Chris said it all, man. I think they did take one. The team did take one for him, you
Mm-hmm.
know, to get his mind right. And you see, as soon as we won, he came out upbeat. He was attentive. You know what I mean? He wasn't lethargic, like he didn't want to be out there. He answered the questions with life. So,
Mhm.
they did the right thing. Gave him a break because, as I said, you said before, the fans could be brutal sometimes, right? So, I think it was a good thing. And also sometimes some reporters,
Mhm.
because some reporters sometimes they just come at you. So,
Mhm.
I think it was a good thing.
They asked the good questions at the wrong time.
Right, exactly.
Right. Right. I mean, I don't know if it was them telling Randall, listen, I think you need to get your mind right. Don't go to the press conference. I kind of think it was Randall, like he didn't want to go. I think they just took
Maybe the first
the heat
couple, but
for
then
him.
I'm sure they probably asked him like, "What's going on?" And he probably said, "Yo, I'm 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 not in a good space."
Fair
I got
point.
to agree with that comment too.
Hmm. A
Yeah,
little, the one that said a little of both.
yeah,
All right.
definitely think so.
All right. Agree or disagree. Now, the last game, um, I think it was the Clipper game. IQ played the point guard position pretty well in the last game,
Uh-huh.
right?
About
Uh,
time. Nah.
agree or disagree? Do you think he can eventually become a point guard in this league? Now we're revisiting this. I mean, we've asked this question. I can't tell you how many times. I'm not talking about where he is right now. I'm not saying where he is right now, but seeing how he played in the last game, do you think that's something he can eventually be? Chris, and then I'll go with Staffordon. And
I
in the
think
chat, let us know.
I
Agree or
think
disagree? He could be a point guard in this league at some point.
I think at some point, but not at this point. I think he needs to learn when to shoot, when to do certain things because sometimes we'll be on a run and he'll come shoot that three because he's done it in the past and it went, I mean, I think that's all about learning, that's all about experience and stuff like that. So I honestly feel like once he really learns the game, then he can pick his poison. But sometimes, because the was it the last game or the game before, we were on a run and he came and he shot that three, and the next thing you know, boom, they scored like two or three in a row, and next thing you know, the lead win, and then they was up, and I said, "Dag, that 1 3 pointer like really messed us up." So I just feel like he needs to pick his poison, like pick his
Mm-hmm.
times where he's gonna do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
like I said, that cost us the game. We had a momentum going, and then next thing you know, the team came back.
Okay. Stafford Don.
Chris, what is it that Atlanta game you're speaking about?
I think it was that game.
Yeah,
They got a little
it
run after
was.
that.
It was an Atlanta game. But back to the question: can Quickly be the point guard of the future? No, highly disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Highly disagree.
Mm-hmm.
His Sometimes his decision making is not on point. Uh,
Yeah,
Um, he misses a lot of assists more times. He misses his own boy, Obi, sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Um, as Chris said, sometimes he comes down the on a break and he stops at the 3-point line. He hits a shot and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't go in. The decision made sometimes to make the wrong shots. Let me just veggie back, as my boy D's Ballin would say, veggie back what Chris was saying about the whole turnover thing with the whole game in Atlanta was the last 33 seconds, right? He came down with the ball. He started to make a three. He stopped. He drove to the lane. He came back out. He saw Grimes, passed the ball to Grimes. Then Grimes couldn't make a shot. He passed back the ball to Quickley. Quickly, then I think he made the shot and didn't make it. And then it came down. Garland came down and made a three. And that's how the Hawks ended up coming back at the end of the third quarter to make it an 8-point game, right?
yeah,
So IQ, I don't believe he's not a point guard. I'll say he's a combo guard, right? Basically, he could play off ball and on ball and distribute the ball, but I don't see him as a point guard. No,
A
Right.
consistent, not
That
a consistent point guard.
yeah,
Right. But
that one game yesterday because he did all of that. I got to see more of that in order for me to call you the future point guard for the Knicks.
Yeah.
well, that wasn't the question. The question is, do you think he can eventually play point guard in
Down the
this league?
No,
line, down the line.
Well, I agree. And listen, this is what I will say, and I've said this earlier. I'm not one to say what a player can ever be or not be. Right? We have no idea. But I will say that as point guards go in this league, most of the point guards in this league are score first point guards.
Yeah.
So that's not the issue. The issue is you can't be a score only point guard, right? Like you can score and the scoring opens up the passing lanes and now you become a passer because you're more of a threat. That's fine. Most of the point guards in this league are that, except for Fox. I think Fox is like a score only point guard. But I think the hardest thing for a point guard to learn is when to shoot, when to go for mine, and when to get others involved. And that is a process for some point guards. Some have it already because they've been playing the position long enough, they have it. Others have to learn when do I shoot? When do I go for mine? He's not there yet. So in that sense, I agree with everybody. He's not there
And
yet
remember, he
because
was a two, right? Didn't he come up as a two and he
he came
decided
up
to
as a
play
point
point
guard.
last year to
But let me
help us
finish.
out?
Let me
Okay.
finish. No, he played point guard before he got to Kentucky. He played point guard before he got to Kentucky. So the point is he might. He's done some things where you could tell as much as he's missed people, there's also been times when he's seen people and made really nice passes. So all I'm saying is I think the potential is there. Is he there yet? No. But can he get to a point where he could figure it out and score and play make? He can, but he will never be a playmaking guard first. It's not really
Mm.
many of those in the league anyway, other than Chris Paul and
Steph,
maybe a few other. Yes, Stephen.
one of the only things with IQ, he doesn't drive to the hole more. He's not a penetrator to the hole. You know, we need a point guard that's penetrating to the hole. And when he does that, he stops.
Mm-hmm.
He stops right there in the middle of the box. And then he looks, right? Raise your head, keep your dribble up when you go to the hole if you can't make it to the basket. Don't just stop if you don't get your float or your layup. And that's one of the issues I have with him too, right? So, as you say, he's not there yet. You know, he's
But
not.
what I'm hearing from you is you don't think he will ever be there.
Nah.
You know, okay. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate you all. Let's get them likes up. We got 238 in the building. I appreciate you rocking with us. And as far as the likes, we got 101, less than 50%. So I know some of you may not be where you can, but if you can hit that like button, definitely do that and help us out. So IQ, you had a pretty decent game playmaking the other day, but you ain't changed a lot of people's minds right now. They don't. Not only don't they think you're a point guard now, they don't think you will ever be that. I say the jury is still out, but nah, negative. I want to get into next week's game. We only got about 10 minutes. And again, I apologize, guys. I don't know where my slides are, but let's get to the play of the week. I don't know where my slides are. All right. The Thrive Fantasy play of the week. And please, if you haven't downloaded the app, please go to thrivefantasy.com. If you use promo code NBK, whatever you deposit, your deposit will be matched up to $100. Okay. So the Thrive Fantasy Player of the Week for the third week in a row is RJ Barrett. He didn't shoot well though. But he over the past 4 games, this is including the Charlotte game, he averaged 20 points, 9.5 rebounds, 3.8 assists. Again, didn't shoot well, 39.4% from the field, 35% from the 3-point line, and only 66.7% from the free throw line. So in terms of his percentages, those may not be great, but it was the best on the team.
Right.
So
Amen.
everybody else that week shot worse, probably except for free throw percentages. Everybody else shot worse. So for the third week in a row, RJ Barrett is the Thrive Fantasy Player of the Week.
Shout out
Wow.
to RJ.
Shout out to
Shout out.
RJ. Definitely. All right. Next week games. Tonight we play Cleveland. Cleveland is 28-19. They are 5th in the conference. Wednesday we play Miami. Miami is 30-17, 1st in the conference. Friday we play Milwaukee. Milwaukee is 30-19, 4th in the conference. Right? So we play the 1st place team, the 4th place team, and the 5th place team this week. I want to get into offensive and defensive rating. Cleveland, their offensive rating is 14 in the league. Their defensive rating is 3. Okay, we play them tonight. Miami. Now, Miami is not really known for being an offensive team, right? Miami's offensive rating is 3.
Wow.
3. Their defensive rating is 8. So they are top 10 in both offense and defense. Milwaukee's offensive rating is 8 and their defensive rating is 7. So they're also top 10 in both offense and defense. The Knicks offensive rating is 23, right? We're averaging 108.5 points per 100 possessions. That's what the difference between net rating and just your score. Oh, I think I got it. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yes. So we did that. That's RJ Barrett, the Thrive Fantasy Player of the Week. It's always good with the slides. Look at that. Shout out to Sam, who's always working the background and doing the slides for me.
Shout out to the
I'll
God,
get better. Right, definitely. The Knicks offensive rating is 23, but our defensive rating is finally 14. We finally in like the top half defensively, but offensively we're 23. So these are the teams we're playing. Let me see if I can do it this way. There we go. These are upcoming games. So the question I have, on paper, these 3 teams are better than the Knicks. If you're just looking at their record, if you're looking at their offensive, defensive, and their net rating, they are better than the Knicks. What about the Knicks make you believe that the Knicks can beat any one of these teams coming up? Stafford Don?
Whew. Wow.
Tough question, right?
You sure you want to start with me?
Hey, or you can even give your predictions for the week. We got about 6 minutes, so we're gonna go through this quick.
My quick prediction: we'll probably go 2-1. We win in Cleveland.
Okay.
Probably lose to Miami. It's a low-scoring game.
Okay.
And we win in Milwaukee. We always find a way to beat Milwaukee.
Okay.
But just to go over tonight's game, we can't win tonight. Once we rebound the ball, because I think they had 48 rebounds and we had 32. So we definitely got to rebound. Once we keep Jared Allen off the boards, because he had 17. He had a big double, 18 points, 17 rebounds. So we got to keep him off the boards. So once we could do that, I think we could win the game. And we got to shoot better from the 3. We were 9 for 31, shooting 29% from the 3 from that last game. So we got to improve on those 2 things. And Randle got to get it going. Once we get it going with Randle, low turnovers, RJ Barrett gets it going, I think we could win the game tonight. So I'm going 2-1 with this team this week.
This is what I wanted to know, and somebody, Allen isn't playing. Can someone else confirm that? Because I know when we did the pregame, the MBK pregame, he was questionable with an illness that he might not play. So if he doesn't play, it looks like Mitch is not playing. Can somebody also confirm that?
So
Um,
we a
Yeah,
little we got a
Mitch is
well,
out.
little we a
What
little
was
even
brought
there then.
on, the Knicks PR tweeted out that he is out for this game.
he is out. Okay, so Mitch is
Yes,
out for this game.
Mitch is out.
Okay, all right. Chris, real quick, your thoughts on the upcoming schedule, and if you think the Knicks can win any of them, why?
We went from the pot to the frying pan on here, boy. Woo.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, like Stephen said, we play well against Milwaukee. Cleveland is a young, scrappy team. So if we don't bring the energy tonight, that can be a very interesting game.
Mm-hmm.
Miami, you with them numbers, number 3 and what you said, number 8, it's
8.
really hard to we have to definitely bring our A game. So I believe that at any time, anyone can be beaten in the league. I just feel that the Knicks got to bring it. They got to bring it tonight. So I don't know about 2-1 because Miami, because Cleveland is really scrappy, and we have problems with them. We have problems with young, scrappy players. We have problems with them. So
Right.
I'm gonna
And
say 1
marketing
and
is out.
2. I'm gonna
Let me
say
just
1 and
let you know,
2.
marketing is out.
Marketing is out as well.
Sexton
Marketing is
is
out.
out.
Yeah.
All right,
Rubio is out.
so maybe we got it. It's even then. It's even. So
Rondo is back because he was
Oh,
out with a hamstring, so he's back.
okay.
whew,
Right.
Cleveland could
Um,
be a problem. I think even with the people that they
can
have on the
be.
bench, and you got to remember, we played Milwaukee, and their bench killed us. They didn't even have somebody. I don't think they had Giannis or Middleton, and their bench came and hit all them threes. So I
Right.
don't know, it's gonna be a
I got the
tough
Knicks
3
going.
game.
Yeah, I got the Knicks going 0-3. I'm sorry.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm
I'm
thinking
sorry. I got the
2-1,
Knicks
but
going 0-3, and I really hope I'm wrong. Somebody else said Rondo is out, so
Out.
we're not sure um
even
about
with
them.
Rondo out, they still got a nice young team.
No doubt, no doubt about it. And we got a team that still has not. The Knicks game is at 7, but tip off is at 7:10. So if you guys want to give us a few more minutes, we just haven't gelled yet. And I think this Burke in the starting lineup, Kimba coming back, he in the starting lineup is not helping things at all. The Knicks haven't gelled yet. Right now, the only person we can count on game in and game out is RJ. We don't know if Fournier is going to show up game in and game out. We
Yeah,
don't
we
know if
don't know which
Randall's going to
Fournier
show
showing
up
up.
game in and game out. Only person we know is showing up is RJ. And this has only been a three-week run, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. Any last words before we get out of here? Appreciate you, the chat, and everybody else that's listening and that's going to listen later. Appreciate you. Any last words?
RJ can't go 3 for 13. He has to shoot better. 6 points in the last game is not going to make it. So we need, as I said, we need to rebound the ball. We need to share the ball. I think once we are over 20 assists, we win.
Mm-hmm.
We keep who's playing center off the boards. As I said, I think rebounds is the main key tonight. We got to keep them off the
Right.
boards and win the boards of the battle tonight. So I think once we do that, we come out with a win.
Do you think this is our best chance this week? No, you like us against Milwaukee.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
might be the best chance, Steph. I don't know. This might be the best chance.
If Jared Allen is out.
If Jared Allen is out and Markkanen is out, and Rondo is out.
Sexton is out also too. So
Sexton has been out most of the
so
season
as I said,
since the last time we played them.
yeah.
Yeah. Any last words, Chris, other than this is our best chance?
Let's go Knicks.
Now somebody else said Jared Allen is starting. So we don't know. When I get off, I'm going to check.
Oh,
when I
man.
get off, I'll check.
Again, let's go Knicks. That's all I got to say. I just want to see some energy, Steph. You know what I'm saying? Win or lose, if they come and put it out on the court, you can't be mad. They tried. They gave it 100%. But if you're coming out lethargic and everything, it's going to be a long night and a long 3 games.
Yeah. I'm gonna go out. My last words is gonna be the same as Funky Goose World. All 3 games are winnable depending on what version of the Knicks appear.
For real.
Facts.
I'm with you on that. Facts. Appreciate you guys and ladies for, for rocking with us. And then we'll see you next week.